Melon. Meloncollieflaur です。Hello everyone, I'm meloncollieflaur. And today's Watermelon Wednesday! スイカ水曜日だよ. We've made it to the middle of the week once again. Just a few more days until the weekend. I hope everyone has been keeping warm if you are of the northern hemisphere, and I hope everyone has been keeping cool in the southern hemisphere as well. I know that the extreme temperatures can be a little rough, but I hope everyone is staying safe. Make sure that if you are working hard, don't work too hard. おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。私はメロンコリフラワーです。今日の配信はスイカゲームだよ。スイカゲームプラネットだよ。すみません、メロン。So, let's get started. Okay. So, how do we do this today? Good afternoon, Melon. Hello, Bob. Con Melon. Hope you're doing well today. Hello, my Lucio. Con Melon. Hope everyone is well. What has everyone been up to? Nice. I guess that works. Nice. Okay. And then still working on making the sword. I finally bought a handle for it. Oh, okay. That's really cool. I do like seeing like crafts and stuff like that. I like the determination it gives people as well. Okay. Guess I'll put that there. Okay. Super evolution. Super evolution. It was a strange question, but do you have a favorite fish? Favorite fish? Do I have a favorite fish? It's definitely a question I've never been asked before. Let me think about that. I like the angelfish, I guess. I like their design. I like their shape. I like the way they look. Okay. Alright. Don't know where to put that cherry, so I'll just put it there. Angelfish are kind of neat looking. Yeah. Melon. If I could pick one just based on name itself, I'd say cuttlefish, just because I like the way it sounds. But I'll be honest, I don't actually remember what a cuttlefish actually looks like. Okay. Strawberry. Grape. Ah! Have an eye melon. Whoa, okay. And then I guess I'll do this one. Cuttlefish is like a cephalopod squid. It can hypnotize its prey. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Huh. Okay, so then I'll put you here, and the cherry there, and another one. My favorite fish are the sunfish and the remora. Suction cup forehead. Oh, remora. Why does that sound familiar? That is really cool, though. Let's put you here. Remoraid is one. Oh, you might be right. I guess it would be Pokemon related, wouldn't it? Super Evolution 2. The Boogaloo. Okay, Melon. Oh, nice. That works. Nice. Okay. Fish gun? Yeah. From gun to cannon, I think. Or I guess gun to bazooka, maybe. Underrated Pokemon, but is very slow. Very slow and inaccurate, all things considered. No. $14.57. Persimmon, thank you for lending a hand. $1457. Never used one. Really? Interesting. めっちゃ面白いmelon. I like it. Gen 2 is my favorite. So there are a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon that I used to use. Or try to use. Fruits lost in space. Nice. Now there's 3 persimmon. Ooh, I have a question for you guys. I'm not sure if you can answer properly, but what games have you played in the past that have gotten remakes and the remakes have been better? Like if they've been HDified or just remade in general. The reason I was asking about fish is because I just finished doing a series on an underwater game. Really? What's it called? Do this. Abazu. ABZU. Can't say I've heard of it before. Sounds extravagant. What's it about? Oh. Nice. I know Bowser's Inside Story and T2ID have remakes. They do have remakes. Did you enjoy them over the original though, is what I'm asking. Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's your question. Maybe Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Weird it has no online though. Oh yeah, that's right. It did. So like, it is interesting that it basically returned to its, I guess it returned to more of a cartoony feel because DDD is closer to like the, Crystal Shards version, I believe. I think. Because I don't have the remake. Since I still have the Wii, like, disc. Because that's something I wanted to discuss as well. But I wanted to get the answer to this question first. Because scrolling through, like, videos can really lead to some interesting... Or scrolling through comments on videos can lead to some interesting, like... Stream talk. Melon. First melon of the day. Okay. Did you ever try trading a hound dower or mischievous to another Gen 2 save to actually use it in a playthrough? I don't think I have. Did you? Wait, Milo, did you answer my question? Okay. Cherry, strawberry. Strawberry. Persimmon. Nice. And then... Wow. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Okay. But I guess I ask this question because For those of us who have grown up with a game and still have like a copy of the game, if you do end up getting the remake or the re-release of a game, what is your reasoning for it? Because I do know of a few people who will buy a game for like multiple systems or every system that they own, even though they have the game already. At least like 5 or 6 times. I guess it's one thing if, you know, you had an old system but you no longer have it anymore. So that gives you a reason to get it again in a different way. What is happening? And something's happening. ちょっと待って、メロン。Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. That was really weird. False alarm or something like that. Extra content or convenience to play it on the new console. Okay. So yeah, I can understand like extra content because, you know, adding to it is a nice way to do that. That's really nice. It's kind of like what they did with what was it? Like Mario. What was it called? New Super Mario 3D World. Was it 3D World? With Bowser's Fury and stuff like that. And also, of course, like you said earlier, with the Alpha Dream games that added the Minions, I think, game as well. Oris with the Delta episode as well. Yeah, Oris is a good example as well. And the visuals are different, so I mean, I definitely understand that. Definitely a different experience as well. So that does make sense to me. Oh no. I see. But I've definitely seen there's this trend where double metal. There's this trend where basically I got a new sticker. Where the games, if a game doesn't come out on the new system, then people say, I would like for this to get ported to the new system. Or I hope they remake this for this. And I feel like that's probably because of convenience as well. Which is interesting. I've read through some comments about like there were a few games that were on the Wii U that didn't get ported over to the Switch. And the comment was like, it's a shame that they didn't add these to the Switch because these are the only 2 games that I care about. And my thought process is, how are they? Are they the only 2 games that you care about because they're the only ones that haven't been ported over? Or are those just the only games that you legitimately care about? That's been really weird to me. I've seen some interesting takes on the internet in the past few days. Most of them might be due to like rage and stuff as well, but it's still interesting to read because it does get put on the internet for everyone to see. As being one of the 10 people to actually play Minion Quest and Junior's Journey, I actually enjoyed them. I played, I think I played wait, it might not have been Junior's Journey. I think I did play the Minion Quest one. The one on the remake of Superstar Saga, I believe. I enjoyed that. I thought that was really neat and very cute. Little strategy game sort of thing. Basically, get the right type of enemies to... I guess it's kind of like Fire Emblem Advance Wars, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. But I liked it. I thought it was really cool. But, yeah, Ant Troopers are peak. Yeah, exactly. I guess that's what's always been really weird too, because like the question is always, do we want remakes or do we want new games? And then a lot of times when we get new games, people want remakes, but then when we get remakes, people want new games. Is there a reasoning for this? It has been confusing me for like a while now. And I do ask these questions because I genuinely wonder. Unless it's mood-based, I suppose. The biggest one I've heard outcry for was Kid Icarus Uprising. It was on 3DS, yeah. So I can understand wanting a remake for that one too. Mostly because the controls will be different as well. As someone who is left pod, I can say that it wasn't very easy for me to play. But I love the visuals and I like the story. I think it's really nice, actually. Remakes can also be new to people, like how many people thought the Mario Advance games are brand new. Exactly. That's an interesting way to look at that, an interesting take on that, because I grew up with like I grew up playing the Super Nintendo versions of the Advance games. I didn't own them, but later I did end up getting the Advance series as well, and I thought it was an interesting way to do that because they made it portable. I thought it was very nice of them to port over some of those games to handheld. They did that with a few NES games as well, I think, right? Didn't they do it with I don't know. Did they do it with Zelda 1? They probably didn't do it with Zelda 1. I know they did it with Link's Awakening. Wait. Yeah, they did it with Link's Wait. I think they did. There was also like Zelda something DX. I don't remember. Link to the Past? It might have been Link to the Past. I don't remember now. Ice Climbers? Ice Climbers too. Opinion rejected, your left pod jokes. Yeah. It's a shame that me being so different is a problem. I apologize. Go Melon. But just having games go, are you left-handed or right-handed is very nice. I like that. That's why I thought it was weird with Twilight Princess back in the day. I just learned that apparently the GameCube version was going to be the one that actually that was going to get released, but they released the Wii one first. So that one overshadowed the GameCube version. But I've seen that through most opinions that people actually like the GameCube version more, even though the Wii version actually sold way more. Probably due to like the gimmick of, and I think it's because it was also like a what's it called? launch title, technically. Even though the Wii did come with Wii Sports. Being different is fine. I hope so. I don't think any two people are the same, so I'd hope so. GameCube does run smoother with no cooldown from sword swings. I've heard that too. I was reading about that, yeah. Because I've never played the GameCube version. I also heard that the HD remake was like the best of both worlds, or like Chef's Kiss or something like that. So I can only assume that the Wii U version was better, but I don't actually know. I'm already a lot. I could not handle two of me. Yeah, exactly, right? I think that's how people feel about like having kids too, or something like that. They're like, I know how I was when I was growing up. I don't want another of me, or something like that. Even though technically you have control over, you know, how to raise your child and stuff like that. But I guess that's a little different. I could see them adding it to NSO for the 20th anniversary. Yeah, I could see that too. That would make sense, actually. It is a GameCube game. And as someone who's never played it on the GameCube, that would be interesting for me. So, that would be kind of cool. They already put like Path of Radiance and stuff on there. I'm not sure if they added Coliseum yet though. Probably not, right? But they plan to. Coliseum and XD, I think. So that should be interesting. Yeah, there's nothing stopping them from adding like any of the titles. Except for, I guess, online space or something. And it's their own property, so it's not really a licensing issue either. Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2 also got leaked for it. It got leaked for it? They didn't actually say it was coming out? And I don't see why they wouldn't release it anyway. So I am fine with that. I think GameCube is perfect in this case because a lot of people didn't really get a chance to play GameCube. Walmart leaked the picture? Oh. How did Walmart get it first? That's really weird. That's really, really weird. Interesting. I did not know that. That's interesting. Based Walmart. I guess they sell like the little Nintendo shop cards or whatever, I'm sure. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's how they got that. I guess the only thing that the GameCube NSO will be missing is a way to connect like your Game Boy to a game to let it recognize that you did connect your GC cable to it. I don't even know if GC cable would even work to it. You know what I mean? I know that they make like individual emulators for each of their games for functionality, but I think that would be kind of interesting to do if you had it. But then they'd have to figure out a way to go, hey guys, you don't have this, well we can sell you one of these. But they're not gonna sell like a Game Boy Advance or SP like replica in 2026 or 2027. And I know what you're thinking, but Melon, but Kali, they're doing the Virtual Boy though. They could easily do it, and it's like I understand, but I think that people would probably want the original Game Boy Advance over the SP, from what I've seen on the internet as well. This is too easy. Also in Virtual Boy's news, you can change the filter on it to be other colors like green or yellow with the black. Oh, so they're taking into account, they basically took a page out of the Red Viper book then. That's smart of them to do that. That was also missing from N64 Pokemon Stadiums. Yeah, and I don't think they would ever like try selling transfer packs either, considering that the N64 controllers that they released don't have a slot for it. And it's a shame that you wouldn't be able to like use something like a Mayflash to use like an original N64 controller to try it out. I don't think it would work. Mostly because, once again, they are Nintendo emulators. So I think that's what's keeping the system from from reading that, right? So the code is basically scrapped in a way, or dummied out in a way. And they are also releasing canceled games for like F-Zero. So F-Zero's on Virtual Boy. I do like it when they release the canceled games like they did with Earthbound Beginnings and Star Fox 2. I don't see why not. If the games were already made, but they just never released, I think it's a fine thing to do. Plus it adds more exclusivity, right? It's like, you can only play this here, even though, you know, obviously, you know. I did the thing again, because I keep pressing number 3. Oh, I know why. Give me a second, actually. You can still hear my voice, but I'm going to change something right quick. Don't mind me. Let me do this. And then do this. That should make things a lot easier. Now I gotta find myself. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Okay, that might be a lot easier. Sorry about that. That's my void, yeah. When I press my 3 key, that's something that happens. I fixed it now. It's okay. Sometimes I have to keep that in mind. But yeah, that's my void. They also release some games. Oops, the void. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a fantastic idea because once again, now we're getting a chance to play those games. Collie can learn Dark Void. No, it's not Dark Void. You're in timeout. Go to the Void. Yeah. I don't know if I would send anyone to the Void. But a humble melon after all. But like, it's like what they did with the classic series, right? I thought that was a neat idea. There are a lot of neat ideas that I think a lot of companies did for their stuff. I think we've just reached an era now where like, what's the best way for me to describe this? I guess it's like if you're, well, no one's gonna remember this, but if you just go based on history, back in the day, there were televisions, big and small, where you only got like black and white frequency. And then later they came out with colored televisions, right? So then that means that for the time, people were also trying to release colorful games for the of the systems as well, right? So as time went on, things became more vibrant, right? And then like vibrant and whimsical and stuff. Now it feels like we reached an era where everything feels like it's turning to gray again, right? Like when you go from, let me think for a second. If we go from GameCube, where it had interesting like sounds and stuff, moving around on the control stick on the menu before starting the game up, right? It was very interesting and gimmicky and cool. And then the Wii came out, obviously, and it was very cool. It's like, you know, you use it like a TV remote to traverse everything. It had music and stuff. And the Wii U existed too, and it also had music and stuff. And I know it wasn't sold as well, but it still was a neat concept for like Nintendo Land and stuff. And then like the Switch came out, and the Switch, you only had like 2 colors. And the menu had no music, and the eShop had no music, and all that type of stuff, right? Of course, the 3DS came out as well beforehand. And that was very cool as well. Very vibrant, very customizable. You could get like the new 3DS and have the cover plates, right? That was really cool too. A return to the grayscale, metaphorical gray. Yeah. Like that one time the end of stream became gray. Yeah. Yeah. The Wii U startup is transcending. It really is. Like the start. Yeah, I like the sound. Yeah. That's the thing. It was very interesting. I guess the GameCube was the start to stuff like that. Well, yeah, GameCube and Game Boy Advance, since they released around the same time. Just hearing, well, Okay, I'll go back to say the portables in general, like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, all that type of stuff. But as far as systems go, GameCube was the one that actually had like a startup. But then again, Super Game Boy on the Super Nintendo had a startup too. But the NES didn't have a startup. But the Famicom had a startup. But it was interesting that the Super Famicom or the Super Nintendo didn't have an interesting startup. But I think the Satellaview did. But I don't know as much about the Satellaview. I never owned one, but I love the PS2 startup menus. I love that too. I did grow up with both. Well, I never owned a PlayStation, but I did own a PlayStation 2. But yeah, the startup for PlayStation, PlayStation 2, very nostalgic, very nice. I love startup stuff. It's really cool. Even Xbox Original. I don't think anyone remembers Xbox Original startup. Even though Xbox 360 startup is pretty nice too. And that's as far as I've gone with Xbox actually. And the startup could change depending on how many controllers you press Z. Yeah, exactly. The different sounds and stuff, which I think they added to NSO. I'm not entirely sure. And I did like the interesting thing you could do with Game Boy games on like a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy SP, where you could move around the D-pad and the A button, B button to change the color palette. Which is basically what you would do on the Super Game Boy anyway. To a lesser degree, I guess. So like, customizability I think was really, really nice. And maybe they just thought that people don't care as much about it anymore, and I guess people care more about speedrunning games maybe. Or kind of like where people are like, oh, people don't care too much about the story, they just want to play game. Which for some series that is true, obviously, because sometimes story can be hand-holdy, I guess. And a lot of times people just want to get into the game and figure things out on their own. So, it's very interesting. But yeah, now like the Switch and stuff are very, it's like it's just black or gray or white. And like there's no music. At least when you go into the eShop now, like the videos are playing and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Or whatever. Or like looking at newsletter stuff. But that's about all we have now. But I do like listening to the different sounds on like the Wii U and the 3DS. If you try going to like your friends list and all that type of stuff, or just going to the notifications spot, they have different songs. Or even the settings area, putting in heck, just going to the Nintendo, what is it called? Like putting in your Nintendo ID account. Even that has different music too. So there was a lot that they did. And for Wii U, specifically, the sounds or songs were different, or they were like accompanied to each other, or they complemented each other based on the gamepad versus the television screen too. So that's a neat little detail as well. Let's see. The Mii's were the biggest when it came to customizing. Yeah, and they like evolved over time from the Wii to the Wii U to the Switch as well. I still find it funny that when they did the direct on the Switch too, trying to explain like the game cards and stuff, Melon, they used the Wii U Mii's for some reason. And I thought that was very odd considering that, you know, they consider the Wii U to be a commercial failure. But the fact that I noticed that was very interesting. And the 3DS was peak with the themes. You could buy a Rusty Shop and Badge Arcade. The Badge Arcade thing was cool too. Yeah, the themes in the Badge Arcade and whatnot are very, very nice. Maybe that's another reason why people... Maybe that's another reason why the 3DS is insane right now, if you guys haven't seen like those videos all over your feed. Why the 3DS is so expensive right now in 2026. Other than the fact that the system isn't being sold anymore for obvious reasons. Because it's discontinued. whatever. I'd still say get a Wii U though. I know there are some things that a Wii can do that a Wii U can't necessarily do, which is very small, but the Wii U is two Wii's duct taped together, so the processing power is technically better as well. It's very useful. Ah. Okay. That Direct with the Switch 2 was out of sync at one point. Was it really? I have a Wii U. Same. Miiverse is also something. Miiverse was fun. Interestingly enough, Miiverse was very interesting to see what people all over the world, what they were playing, what they were like putting. Like, if you were to if you were to screenshot something and then put like a thing, you could put it in that game's like little, I guess you could call it like a forum in a way. Or a thread, I suppose. To show that. That was really fun. The one thing I never tried before it got like discontinued or cut immediately was Swap Note. I never had a chance to try it, so I don't even know what it was like. I don't even know if there are videos on it because like people showed that we couldn't have nice things for that. So I don't even know how it worked or what it looked like, unfortunately. There were also funny posts. Yeah, exactly. I used SwapNote. It was so much fun. Yeah, I never had a chance to do it, so I don't even know. People love Nikki though, for sure. Interestingly enough. There were also a lot of what was it called? There were a lot of Mi Plaza games. I remember when they did like the update to add more of them. There were a lot of them I hadn't tried at the time either. I think I used to do the knight one a lot, the medieval one a lot. That one was really fun to me. I like how that got a stage in Smash Brothers later. So yeah, I like how impactful a lot of these gimmicks or whatever were. Oh, wow, we actually reached 2,000 as well. Nice. All right, now it's too big. I can't save us. Or can I? Go, 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 go! Ah. Got a sticker. Glad you came. Same. Anyway, I'm glad Nikki was saved and adopted into Smash. Yeah! That's so interesting. MKDS also had the emblems, but knowing people would just try anything in online. So was that affected at all? Like, was there like any type, like you could still draw anything, or did they just know? The emblem thing is very cool. I'm surprised it wasn't in MK7. Maybe that's why it wasn't in MK7. Anytime you get an opportunity to draw, people want to ruin it, I guess, which is upsetting. We really can't have nice things because of this, because of these ill intentions, and I don't understand why. It's really not difficult being nice. I don't understand where the prankster mentality really comes from. Sometimes people just want to have fun and not have things get banned or discontinued because of it. You could draw anything, but people just didn't do anything bad. See, that's what I like. People didn't draw anything bad. It was decently like customizable where you could just create something nice. I like that. COD emblems on the other hand, COD emblems. Well, I don't play shoot, so I can understand why those are the way that they are, because, well, people are edgy in shoot, so I understand there. Not that I promote it, but I usually like most people who play shoot aren't very whimsical. They're more on the edgier side, I suppose. If someone's playing Call of Duty, more than likely they're not playing Nintendo games anyway. You know what I mean? So, because I don't think that would be more of their jam. Well, if I recall correctly, the content creator Lucha Jean posted something not good to Flipnote an accident at a convention, so it wasn't on purpose. Oh, yeah, Flipnote was a huge thing too. There's a long time where we didn't get Flipnote on 3DS, and Japan had it for forever. And then they released it right at the end, right at the tail end, before the 3DS basically got discontinued. Or I think they released it to Club Nintendo users specifically. But it was still missing that one thing that Japan had, and it was like a little, I don't think it was a gallery, I forget what it was called. It was like a little showcase thing though, that you could upload for everyone to see. And it was really cool. I delved a lot into a lot of the like behind the scenes, like JP, like looking at JP stuff or like regional difference stuff, because that's really fun to look at. And fun to reminisce over or like take a look at over time. Europe also had Nintendo VIP before Club Nintendo. Is that what it was called? And did they still, or oh, you said before Club Nintendo? Interesting. Okay. Just back then in the 2000s, yeah, 2000s were definitely an interesting time. Hopefully people grew by now from their experience, like in a positive way, in a good way. I'm not entirely sure, but I really hope so, because you know, all things considered. So yeah, I'm surprised We Speak or Wii U Speak and stuff didn't really get like discontinued or banned at the time, considering that, you know, people could do crazy stuff on that too. Something tells me that people are gonna do some weird things on game chat. I Switch too, because once again, we can't have nice things, right? People have bad intentions or ill intentions whenever we get something innovative or something nice that people can use. People do some rambunctious things, right? So people even make videos and stuff like that. They will make videos going like, I went to this place to tick people off, to intentionally tick people off to get their reaction. It's like, why though? Why do you find that to be funny or whatever? But then again, people watch it, so they just continue doing it. It's just weird to me. There are many things I'm still learning about this world. I don't understand it. I'm here to make friends, and everyone's trying to be really weird. I don't know. I'm so confused. Some of my GameCube games have the paper inserts for the VIP that use points. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it is like Club Nintendo then. Well, for VCO Nintendo, you have to actually be friended with the codes. Okay. So that is better then. But yeah, like I said, I never used to like Wii Speak or Wii U Speak or anything like that before. I wonder if it also had like its own like music or whatever. I used PictoChat before, but I didn't use PictoChat too. At the time, I didn't have like a DSi or anything like that. I still had like a DS Lite, I think. So I was just using PictoChat. City Folk also use Wii Speak. I think I remember hearing about that, yeah. There was a PictoChat too? Yeah. At least I think so. Maybe I'm spreading misinformation, I don't know. But I don't know. But PictoChat was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting that DS Me when I lie. I think DS was like doing a thing. I remember when they first did like the DSi, like the eShop thing, I was very confused because I didn't know it was a thing since I was very late to DSi. Actually, let me look something up right quick before I continue. I do want to continue. I might go a little bit over today. Because why not? Let me see. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. SwapNote became the successor to PictoChat. So SwapNote was basically PictoChat too, even though it's not the same thing. I guess what I'm remembering from PictoChat 2 is just that they made a PictoChat 2 in Smash Brothers, which can be misleading, stage-wise. So that's why I'm remembering that from. So that's interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad I looked that up. I don't like to spread in misinfo. Is that something people do? Go on the internet and lie? Impossible, Melo. No shot. Flat Zone 2 be like, oh, that's true. Yeah, there was never a Flat Zone 2 in real life. But yeah, that's yeah. Basically, SwapNote became PictoChat 2. It's like how Flipnote 2 is technically Flipnote Hatena, I think. There was a Flipnote 2. That was called Flipnote Hatena. I do know that for certain. Oh yeah. What I was gonna say was I liked how the DS was region free. So you could put your system in Japanese if you wanted to. Just fine without it. Like no like jailbreaking or anything like that. It was just like that. Even in PictoChat, you could choose like the Japanese letters as well. The hiragana, katakana, and stuff like that. If meloncollieflaur is so cool, why isn't there a meloncollieflaur too, huh? Yeah, you're right. Why isn't there a meloncollieflaur too? Because there doesn't need to be a meloncollieflaur too. Because I'm already the best. Pokemon Stadium 2 stage. That one has a cat poster in the ice cabin. Aww. A cat poster. Well, that's interesting. Someone's been looking at boundary breaks and stuff. Actually, I didn't know that. I actually did not know that. So that's new to me. Imagine if they made a stage and they called it Pokemon Stadium 3. And then everyone would go, there was a Pokemon Stadium 3? I've seen it. I don't know whose cat it is though. It's probably a developer's cat. They were like, we're gonna add this Easter egg into the game. It was probably Sakurai's cat. People used to do that thing where like when Sakurai did their directs or whatever, they would like look at the many different things on their shelf or whatever and then just allude to it, thinking that it was going to be added in Smash some way. Because people are obsessed in a weird way. As if like Sakurai was like Kojima or something like that. It was definitely a weird time. But it was an interesting time. Waluigi color scheme on the show. Like, yeah, right? We're seeing the different systems and it's like, oh, that's gonna be on, you know, that's gonna be somewhere in Smash Brothers or whatever. It's really funny how the Virtual Boy was actually put in a lot of different games as Easter eggs. Tomodachi Life, Gamer Stage, and all that type of stuff. WarioWare, all that type of stuff. Like, even if they were considered like failures and whatnot, they were still there. Even like the Wii U stage of like Woohoo, showing like the Wii U logo and stuff like that, or whatever, even though that was also like a failure. All that type of stuff. Like, there's a lot of different things that were there that we still could remember them for, even if Nintendo may be embarrassed about it. Or it felt like they would be embarrassed about it, I guess. I think there's nothing wrong with improving over the past, because times do change, right? It's kind of like the ordeal with Game & Watch, where they had to remove the feather from Game & Watch because, you know, obviously it was like historically scary slash racist, right? And times have changed, and they even said, like, you know, the times of now do not reflect the times of the past and stuff like that. And so, you know, so I feel like growing over time and learning over time, like cultural stuff or anything like that that could be considered scary or, you know, racial back in the, like now compared to what was back in the day is a nice step forward. Understanding the type of situation. With that, and also Piston Hondo reading Sailor Moon manga and round intermissions. Considering that that was added to the non-JP version, like it was just a little. I think it was added to all international versions. Didn't they also get in trouble for that? I think they got in trouble for that too, no? I don't remember. Pizza pasta in that One Punch Out game and vodka Drunkinsky, yeah. But like Honda changed to Hondo because of like a brand is very odd to me, because it's like just because a brand is well known doesn't mean that that's not someone's last name actual, right? So I found that to be very interesting to change from Honda to Hondo. But I think that's also because since his name was Piston, like a car, like a Honda is a car, a Japanese car. So maybe that's why they did that. I mean, that's like if they were to name him like Piston Toyota, right? Because that's also like a car brand, a Japanese car brand. So maybe that's why they did that. And they probably would have changed it to Toyoto instead as well. So maybe that's why they did that. I'm not sure. But it's still a real name. Kid Quick also changed to Disco Kid. It was Kid Quick changed to Disco Kid, or was he just scrapped and they used a different character? Like, I guess that's the internal name, right? But they're like not the same, right? There were a lot of differences from arcade to non-arcade, if I recall correctly. The latter? Okay, fair enough. Melon. Yeah. There are some people to this day on YouTube. Well, I say people, but there's like one person in particular, who is still playing Punch Out every single day or releasing a video every day until a new Punch Out comes out. I admire the dedication. And it shows how much they love the game. They can literally become famous from just playing that game a lot. So I guess they found their niche. That's really cool. The Humble Ladder. JP Ice Climbers with the seals. Yeah. Or are we just like saying like region differences now? From everything? From the seals to the topi? Is that what we're doing now? Like I said, I do like seeing like the regional differences and stuff, but like, or like what got changed and whatnot. It's always nice to go into like NSO to see if something was released in its OG form or if it wasn't. Because I know like with the Virtual Console for the Wii, sometimes they were either patched new or they were the original. And for NSO, usually it was the OG. Well, not entirely true actually. Because for Mario 64, it was the Shindle version for Japan for NSO. Instead of being the OG like original cart. I think I don't know for certain for Virtual Console on the Wii, if it was the Shindol version or the OG with that hack, not hack, but the situation where you could get like negative lives or something like that. In concern with seal clubbing being a thing, right? Alright, Melon, I finally finished Mario P Cross. You finished Mario P Cross? The GB one? The Game Boy one? That's really cool, actually. There are a lot of P Cross games. I find P Cross to be very fun, even if they can be very confusing. The Super Nintendo one? Okay. Okay. That one's hard. If you know how, or if you can, you should definitely try the ones that are on 3DS as well. Or the Club Nintendo ones as well. I'm sure you know what I mean. But I find P-Cross to be very fun, but when you have a bunch of them where it's just like a bunch of ones, it gets very, very difficult. It's like hard to guess at that point, and the numbers aren't big enough. But yeah. I have Pokemon Picross on 2DS, but my 2DS is out of commission until I fix it. Oh, what happened to it? If I may ask. Because I know some 3DSs and 2DSs are easier to fix than others. I've never... I guess I may have seen like the inner workings of a 2DS once. But I never really owned a 2DS. Or XL. Even though I do like the design of the XL. I guess I'm also just kind of sad about like the whole new 3DS thing, because I remember when it first came out, and I remember like just looking at Japanese commercials or ads of how it was advertising the cover plates and stuff like that, the Kisakaya plates, and how merchandise, I don't think this is a word, merchandisable. I don't think that's a word, but like it was just very interesting. I had a bunch of plates for mine. I say mine, but it was really Owner's, because Owner ended up getting one from like a site a long time ago. They really wanted it for like, since it was coming out in Japan first, they really wanted to get one, and so they ended up buying a Japanese new 3DS, and they ended up buying a bunch of Kisakaya plates for it. They had like the Sleeping Pikachu one, Fire Emblem Fates one, some generic colors too, like the there was like a green one. What other ones were there? There was a Mario one, I think. I thought it was very cool. So it was very interesting when learning about like North America, how they were at first only going to get the XL version, which didn't have customizable plates. People were in an outrage, mostly because usually there was always a choice between like small versus big, but in this case they just gave us the big one or something like that, and so people were rioting about it for a good bit until they released like a deluxe edition standard one, like the Pokemon Red one, I think. The little gate thingy holding a ribbon cable became loose and isn't holding down the power cable, or maybe it's the bottom screen cable, not sure. But it prevents the system from staying powered on. Oh, I see, okay. There's probably a video of how to like disassemble it properly. In case you are like a little afraid to mess with that sort of thing, because I know that it's very easy to break those ribbons. It's not fun to deal with. Owner used to do shell swapping back in the day, so I can understand how that was. Very, very interesting, very delicate, very cool. I have to solder in a new one once I figure out what part that is. There's no other fix. Okay. Soldering is something I've never learned to do. It's probably not difficult. I guess anything is possible when you have the internet for videos, which I think is really cool. I think that I'm glad that there are a lot of like how-to videos, actual how-to videos that are useful and not trolls. Because it does help people out. Even like with learning how to cook, like certain dishes and stuff. There are plenty of videos and channels out there dedicated to stuff like that as well. And I think that's very neat. It shows that people can be wholesome and stuff like that. How to melon. First you grow one. That is how you melon. Grow them in the right season, I suppose. Remember, every melon is personalized. One of a kind. Not NFTs, but maybe marketable. I guess that's the word I was supposed to use. Not merchandisable, that's not a word. Marketable. That was the word. Marketable and remarkable as well, I guess. Can melon roll? But why can't melon roll? Melon crawl, right? Super Melon Prime. Deluxe edition. Definitive edition. Roll like Spheal. Yeah. Spheal is the best Samus. It's very interesting that some games like Metroid and like Fire Emblem didn't make it to the N64. But it was nice that they did make it to the GameCube. I'm surprised that people haven't tried to build a game from the ground up, since people do actually delve into making older games. Like one game that looks kind of N64 or PlayStation 1 like is Pseudo Regalia. People like compare it to N64 graphics. And I feel like that would be very interesting if someone did like make that as like an N64 port, since people do still use like emulators and stuff these days as well. It's nice to try to see what can run on actual hardware, because people do actually make ROM hacks for N64 games, even if the N64 games that are used are like maybe 3 or 4 games, like Mario 64, Paper Mario, Mario Kart maybe, and I guess Zelda Ocarina / Majora's Mask. The notable ones, I suppose. Super Melon Ball, yeah, Super Melon Ball. So yeah, I actually like that people delve into that type of community. I personally don't see anything super wrong with, you know, doing ROM hacking and emulating and stuff for games that no longer exist or being sold anymore. So I'm okay with that. That's not a problem. I do like to play on native stuff if I can. Otherwise, but I'm not really a mouse and keyboard type of melon. I'm more of a console type. So if I do emulate anything, it'll be on like a system. Like I would probably play it on my Wii U or my Wii or something like that. Since it is still technically on like it still has native controls and stuff like that, without having to worry about it breaking or anything like that, or like frame slowdown. Mario 64 on a GBA. I've noticed that video recently. I wonder why people make demakes. I guess it's more of a can it type of situation. You could connect a controller to the PC. Oh yeah, no, that's true. That is true. There are games on the on Steam and stuff with controller functionality as well. I guess my main thing is that emulators do tend to break though on computers sometimes, on PC sometimes. Frame rate drops and whatnot. Even though emulation has gotten a heck of a lot better now than it used to be over like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But I know like out of the gate, I can like play it on the system, and if it runs that way, then it runs that way on purpose. Instead of fluctuating between like 60 and 30 or whatever, I guess. And stuff like that. But it's also fun to see if there's any latency at all. Because if there's something I have noticed, there is some sort of latency whenever you play. Depending on what NSO you play on, it feels like there is some sort of like button latency compared to playing it on like a Wii U or a Wii or a native like GameCube or Super Nintendo as well. But I guess if you're good enough at the game, you don't really notice it, right? But I definitely noticed like a difference. Not that it's easy to obtain like regular systems anymore. Melon. Okay. I know the giant battles in Dream Team tend to crash on emulator if not set up properly. Interesting. I must admit, I do kind of find it a little hilarious, even though I shouldn't. I find it a little hilarious that even Nintendo doesn't really know how to properly get an N64 emulator to work, because N64 was their first attempt at 3D. So it lags a bit anyway. Heck, the N64 lagged in the beginning anyway because it actually did need an expansion pack for it to properly run. Air quotes on properly. It is nice that the GameCube is basically the improvement of the N64. But I think even to this day, a lot of people do play more N64 games than some GameCube. There are some places where people love the GameCube. I think Germany is one of them, actually. For sure. Even if the GameCube didn't sell as well as people had hoped, people do love it still. And I'd like to see more videos on games I've never even heard of, actually. Because I know there were some European exclusives that were in English that didn't make it to other English-speaking countries and stuff like that. Say it with your chest. Even they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, no, legit. I'm pretty transparent, madam. I do have my opinions about things too. That's also what I'm here for. My whole thing is trying to figure out why people do what they do, or why they say what they say, and stuff like that. Just to try to understand. It's literally like a social experiment or project, I suppose. Because I want to understand what can drive someone mad, or how certain things can drive people mad. Or whatever. But I also know or have learned that the reason why people do actually like emulate or pirate or whatever, not just because basically the games have become abandonware, but also because excuse me, also because that well, you can't really obtain the stuff due to like scalping. People know that the games are hard to get, or the systems are hard to get, because they no longer really exist locally, and so like the market shows it where people are doing that thing. Like Bob, I'm pretty sure you know about, well, even Milo knows, even though they live, in Europe area, about the Pokemon box situation. And everyone is probably like wondering why the heck it costs so much when it doesn't cost nearly as much in that area, right? So, I just realized, did they make this game because fruits would fly into space in the OG space program? You know, Bob, I didn't think about that. That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, they even tweaked the way the fruits react in SUIKA game too. If you ever take a look at my original first VOD of this game, well, not this game, but the original game, SUIKA game, the mechanics were different and more floaty. All sorts of things. The physics weren't as nailed down to the ground. I guess they weren't as down to earth. But like, they definitely did tweak it more. Pokemon Box. I still find it really funny in the ending of Mario Sunshine. Bowser's tear is just the blue sky background, flipping at the spot where a tear would form at the eye. It seems that we are getting the same videos, huh? That's very interesting. I wonder if that was intended though. I'm still going. I know I'm well over time, but I'm still going. Once again, I feel like I still owe you guys anyway. It's like the only thing I stream at this point. And it's like the time I have the most time, I guess. Or the day where I have the most time, I guess. What do you mean same videos? No, you're giving me that face. Which means you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't fool me, Milo. I have you. I understand you now, remember? I got it. I know your tendencies now. Your chicken tendencies. So I understand completely. Nah, you don't. Oh, but I do. Oh, but I do, though. I know that you are very particular on dates and times and when things release and how old people, like, characters in things are. I understand completely. Because you share them a lot. Well, for Pokemon Silver, you're just afraid of Whitney. What do you mean I'm afraid of Whitney? I just haven't gone back to the game. I'm not afraid of Whitney. If I were to fail against them, I'd just train more. Because I don't do Nuzlocks. I don't find Nuzlocks to be fun. There's more to Pokemon than just Nuzlocks. Sure, Janai. Milo is calling you out. I don't know why they're being a bully all of a sudden. It's not like that'll make me want to go back to the game even quicker or anything, even though Gen 2 is my favorite. But Whitney has nothing to do with why I haven't gone back to it. I haven't gone back to, what's the other game? Fuga Melodies of Steel 2 either. I'm not scared to go back to that one either. I just haven't gone back to the games. That's all. Trust me. I would admit if I was scared to go back to a game. Because I am that transparent, but that is not the case. There's so many games to remember. There's the face again. You seeing this, Bob? Now you know anytime you see this face, they're trying to be smug. Like I said, I have you, Milo. I understand completely. Remember, social experience, understanding how people are or react. That's my whole thing. That's my learning. So I know exactly. Yeah. Oh, hello, Hickory Havoc. I'm Melon. You're doing well. Milo does, and you do. Do I, though? Do I really, though? Oh, this tells me. I'm living in that head rent-free. Not really. I just know what you will do. That's all. It just also means that you have a decent memory as well, though. Because I don't remember dates very well, but it seems like you do. Hi, I shall be lurking. I've actually been going over in time, interestingly enough. I've been going for over an hour today for some reason. Don't worry though, time isn't an issue, right? Always remember that time is not an issue whatsoever. I guess I can be upfront about this too, since I just want to clear the air about it. I am not a speedrunner. There's not a single game that I know of that I could speedrun properly. I don't know all of the craziest of techs in any video game that I know of. So I don't know about clipping or glitches or anything like that, except for maybe like the usual Mario 64, because everyone knows about that one. But other than that, I don't know too much about anything like that. So I don't know any weird like Paper Mario skips or like Pokemon skips or like anything like that. So if I end up playing a game, it's usually going to be casually, or if I know it well enough, then I'll go fast just for going fast, but not necessarily due to like speedrunning tactics. I'm not that type of melon. So once we get the GS ball to Ilex Forest, okay. I see. The only game I kind of know stuff for is Super Metroid, but that's just sequence breaks. I've seen a lot of people doing that as well, yeah. Owner has a close friend that's really into Metroid. That's like their series. We'll have plenty of time then. Plenty of time then for what though, Milo? For learning tricks? I'm surprised you're not a speedrunner. Interestingly enough. I'd love to see some of your speedruns. Interestingly enough. I don't mind watching videos of things that people can do that I probably couldn't pull off myself. So the seals aren't very fast on land at least. But it's a video game. It's just like saying penguins can't fly unless they are on ice. Water though. Yeah. So there you go. So like if there's ever like if I'm playing someone's favorite game and I started off, then no, I'm not gonna know like, you know, are we doing a Nuzlocke if it's Pokemon, or are we doing like the something flip glitch, or are we beating this game in 5 seconds? It's like I don't do that sort of thing. And plus that's not really fun for me. I want to play a game to have fun. I don't like, as a streamer, it's not really fun to beat a game in like 5 minutes. Most streamers stream for over an hour, you know. So I will never be part of the game's done quick type of like thing. So also, have you seen him do the bounce? Can Doom run on our pregnancy test? Answer yes. Wait, haven't you said that before? Are we stimming? Is this what the kids call stimming right now? Will it blend? Right? Let's see. The new vocal stems. Someone say stimming. Well, yeah, I exist. I have a name. I said it. But yeah, heck, I could beat Whitney with a Dunsparce though. I've done it before. I could attempt to do it. I don't know. But yeah, Whitney can be scary. I'm not gonna act like Whitney's not scary. Everyone knows about Whitney. But that would definitely not be a reason for me not to continue like my favorite game of all time, or my favorite gen of all time. Melon does not take kindly to trolls, you see. I'm here for like a happy environment. Sucks for the people who picked cynical and getting hit with rock rollout. Lila, you're doing it. Anyway, but cynical is an all-time favorite of mine as well, so that's irrelevant to me. Like, Whitney can steamroll any starter. It's just that rock is super effective against fire. I do know that. So yeah. Hence why people are, you know, there's a reason to fear Whitney. She can also flinch you with stomp. So you just have to make sure that you are faster than she is. I beat Whitney using a bug team. I don't remember what I did now though. I think at some point I ended up using Dunsparce, and I think I ended up using Glare and Headbutt at some point. Or Glare and then maybe Defense Curl a few times and then Headbutt, I think. But I don't remember. It's not a bad strategy as long as you can survive. Jasmine's beta design is also very unique, being more ribbon based, maybe looking like steel beams. What is happening right now? I'm not following. What is happening? Pineapple is trying to leave. Yeah. Too many big fruits. Anything and everything. Okay, Milo. I see. I understand. So you should be a streamer then. What's stopping you from being a streamer? Why? Why are you doing this? We can stay on topic, right? I am still playing the game after all. Milo just being Milo. It seems so. It seems so. Bro, I gotta figure it out though. What's stopping you though? I'm doing it. And I'm small. Anyone can do it. Anyone can best me. I'm but a humble melon. I've been streaming for what, 2 years? I'm not very far, but I'm doing something, right? I have your attention. Melon, we should collab or something. All three of us or something. What will we do though? I don't do much. The fated Melon collab. It does take time to figure out like a setup and stuff though. I'm not going to act like it's super easy. But the hardest part about streaming is starting, I think. I think once you start, it'll get easier over time. Because then you'll start making like backgrounds and redeems and stuff or whatever, even though I don't really do redeems and stuff. And just making scenes and whatnot, and before you know it, you'll be at 50 people watching you. Because from what you talk about interesting stuff anyway. You talk about differences, you talk about clips, you talk about beta designs. Like, what is stopping you from streaming? You would actually go really far. You talk about interesting stuff. So you would definitely surpass me. I don't do much. I don't even talk about stuff like this. You could definitely do it. So, I say go for it. I'm literally like saying go for it. You should totally do it. What, like multiplayer stream? Well, we talked the whole stream. I'd assume that. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I just don't know how that would work though. Strawberry. Oh. Go, go, go. Nice. Okay. The sound effects are very nice. Okay. I can put you here, you here, you here, and you here. Okay. Alright. They made Suika Planet because they fly off into space. I wonder if that's actually why they did this concept. Well, there's another guy that I definitely like the humor of. Fun, Schneck, and I learned from his streams a little. So that's basically your Oshi then. Your role model. Someone who you admire very much. I don't see anything wrong with that. Has to be, right? Fruit Space Program. Yeah. I guess so. That never crossed my mind. I just lived with SUIKA Planet. Just being a thing. I was like, okay, sure. Something, water, gravity, launching, sure. Why not? It's the same SUIKA game properties in a different environment, so sure, I guess. I just didn't know if it was going to be a different game or a different mode, and I've learned that it's a different game entirely. Apparently. I think Bringle would be more since I've been watching him longer. Yeah, well, I mean, you can have more than one role model. That's for sure. You can be inspired by many people at once. Melon. It's just like how you can have more than one best friend. So yeah. I will always promote people to stream or do content if they have a lot to talk about or a lot to do. Because why not, right? Otherwise, you're just shouting into the void. Just give it a shot. Anyone can do it. Am I super successful? Of course not. But I'm still doing it, and I still enjoy doing it. Who knows? Maybe I'll jump at some point. I just have to do more stuff. I can't imagine blowing up from just playing SUIKA game. Obviously, I have to do more. So. Which I didn't plan to blow up from SUIKA game. I just really enjoy SUIKA game, I guess. Wait, genuinely though, can you have more than one best friend? Yeah, of course. Are the twins locked in? The twins? Locked in? Like that Punch Out person playing nothing but Punch Out? You could. Yeah, like I said, they're basically the Punch Out guy now. If I recall correctly, they have a profile picture of Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron. So, yeah. They're not hard to find. I did not mean to do that. Oh no. Saved it. Even though the melon's going to fall out. No. Okay, I would do one more and then I will call it. This is too easy. Yeah, see, isn't that the guy with the Carl profile picture? Yeah, they're very easy to find. Because they're the only one doing it. O plus ratio plus melon fell off. Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. It all started with someone wanting to grow a friend. They wanted to make a friend. They took making friends literally. And so here I am. And then I ran away to do streaming on my own. Did you imagine like making your own friend only for them to like run off and do other things? And so they just like pawned it off as, well, they ran away to make other friends. It's fine. I'm not upset or anything, Baka. Right? So, right? So much for being friends. So much for making friends. I would be devastated, right? I'm not saying I'm proud or anything. There's nothing wrong with honor. But it's like sending off a carrier pigeon to deliver a letter or something, right? Maybe. So that's what I'm here for. It's like when you have a pet chilling with you and it leaves to go with another person to cuddle. Oh yeah. It's like the SpongeBob episode, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my lore, though. So. See, even I have lore, even though I'm small. I'm very small, but I have lore. You know? It may not be the best lore, but it is lore. Anything can have lore. Indeed, sir. I agree. Anything can have lore and canon. Just make sure that if the canon is official, that you accept said canon. And don't be so stubborn to not accept the canon. Because otherwise, what's the point in having the canon in the first place? Right? Right, chat? Right, chat? Okay. Melon fan and Melon shoots seeds like the monkeys from Yoshi's Island. No! Maybe in a video game, I guess. My eyes are practically watermelon seeds. Even in my Reaper form, my eyes are like the white melon, watermelon seeds. Yeah, the ukikis. I don't think I've ever beaten that game before. There is like a difficulty curve, but I don't think I've ever beaten it before. If I have, it's once. And if I did, it was the Game Boy Advance version. So I don't think I've beaten the Super Nintendo version. Okay. Go. Go, go. Do the Kongs have any relationship between the ukikis? I'm not sure. Actually. I never thought about it. Probably not. They'd probably have more, like, relation to, like, I Super Monkey Ball. Even though that's a Sega property. I did. I even beat the additional stages. It was awful. Oh no. No. Chat, games are meant to be fun, not agonizing. Make sure you have fun when playing video games. I don't like for people to be in pain. I mostly remember them from the Mario Party games. Oh, true. Good point. That is a place where you can put a bunch of different, like, properties from back when. Even the, Paper Mario 64 stars are, like, characters in some of them. So, yeah. Love the game, but collecting the red coins, having 30 timer, and the sunflowers is agonizing. People do like collectathons. That's why people like, Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, I think. Ah. No. Come back. Why are you over there? No. Oh well. Shogunai Melon. Today was very fun though. I went over for a good bit. Apple! Not bad though. Ah. Eek. But yeah, thank you everyone for like taking a look today. Kite kurete arigato. Mite kurete arigato. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching and stuff. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy like the talks or the vibes and whatnot. Make sure you hit the notification bell to know when I go live, because my times are very inconsistent and stuff like that. But I do hope that everyone does have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you guys again. Bye-bye. Oats Melon.